Seems to me that whenever I look at the internet and watch a bit of YouTube from time to time, that there's a little bit of like, it's like the right wing are jumping into bed with the Christianity, with the Christians. And if you're not Christian enough, you can't be right wing. And it goes the same on the left with like Islam and the left. It's like they've built this like thing, both sides. I mean, if you think that Noah is not that good at making boats, does that mean that you're more likely to join Antifa? No, it doesn't. But you have to be very Christian these days to be seen as, or to be considered to be a little bit more right wing. You don't get many Christians who are left wing, I don't think. Well, I just find it a little bit crazy. It's like a muscle Christianity. I've heard a call for Christianity to be more muscular and more robust, whatever that means. And that tends to come from the right-wing people. And it didn't really work out in 1914, did it? You know, it didn't really do the church much good when all those veterans that managed to survive came back and they asked the vicars and their fathers and the priests, what happened? Where was God when we needed him? You know, it's quite nasty. And that's got a lot of people to leave the church, and we're going there again. Well, not me. I'm not actually a Christian person at all. I find it interesting, and I don't hate people for having a religion. I just don't like the religions that are going around. I'm not a fan of the religions. I think you have the right to sort of criticise and take the piss out of the religions a little bit. And I found this bloke on the internet, a reverend, and he's got quite a few things that he wants to say to people online. And I find him, I think he genuinely wants to do good in his own perspective. He sees through his own lens, his own worldview. He's probably trying to improve the world. So this gentleman, I watched his video and he said, do you ever feel vexed sometimes as you wake up in the morning? And he clearly is very vexed. He's got issues on his mind. The only time I feel vexed in the morning is when we've got no milk and I have to walk to the shop to buy some before I have my cup of tea in the morning. That's as far as it goes with me, but this man's got some real issues.
You wake up some mornings and you're just feeling kind of vexed. Well, I am feeling pretty.
And there are things bothering him, especially the king. And the king has chosen to, I've seen these videos where people are venting their anger at King Charles because he's sort of making the official Church of England, the religion of England, a more multicultural thing.
This week or last week, we saw our king who's decided that Christianity isn't good enough for him now.
When he's supposed to be the defender of the faith, and the faith is Christianity, because it's a Christian country and it's in the institution, and that's the part of the job role. And I can understand why people who are patriotic and are Christian and why they sort of get angry with that. But if you don't care about this religion and this book, the religious book, and going to church, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter to me. But admittedly, truth be said, he is sort of changing the rules, isn't he? And I can fair play on that one. Religion and politics shouldn't be crossing over. I don't see, it should be separate. Theoretically speaking, we'll say I've opened a pub and I've called it the Abrahamic Arms. And it's only for people who follow an Abrahamic religion. And you can go in there, you can have a few drinks, but only people can go in there who have got a badge to say that they are one of the three Abrahamic faiths. If you've got no religious belief at all, you can't enter the Abrahamic Arms. How many fights are there every day in the Abrahamic Arms, do you think? How many people are murdered how nasty does it get? You go to any other pub, it's nowhere near as bad. And I can see this vicar, this reverend, yeah, fair enough. He says that he doesn't like Andy Burnham and they're attacking the internet and freedom of speech.
You know, we've just had Andy Burnham, who's the new anointed one, who's going to be like the hero to save Labour, and already through his government now they're issuing out, they want to curb basically again freedom of speech.
So yeah, he speaks about Andy Burnham and the concerns about freedom of speech and computers and things like that. And all I can say is, come by our, my Lord. If I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning. All those Christian songs that were drilled into my head when I refused to sing them in school. I refused to pray in school, and I was always down the headmaster's office being bollocked, getting into trouble. Where was the freedom of speech there? What about the heresy laws and the blasphemy laws? The blasphemy laws were killed off in 2008, but people were burnt at the stake under heresy laws. Christian Church, love and peace, the religion of the Prince of Peace, but they toasted people quite regularly. So freedom of speech isn't something that the church or any representative of the church really should be talking about in this day and age, when for centuries they've been killing, maiming and torturing people for not going to the church itself or for saying the wrong things. But, you know, moving on, we mustn't grumble at things like that, had we? Because it's not right. People don't like hearing the truth. But that is the truth. History doesn't lie. It's written everywhere. Look what they did to Joan of Arc. She was, how old was she? 18, 19, 20, 21. Burnt her alive. Toasted the girl. Christians again. Like all that torturing, you know, when they put your arse on a pyramid and pull your legs down. That was sanctioned. That was allowed by Christianity. But you did it. It was done in the name of Christianity, like the castrati of choir boys. But especially for freedom of speech, there are things that would get you killed or put you into poverty. So I don't like to hear any religious person at all preaching about freedom of speech when they've been oppressing people right from the onset. Secularism, following science and things like that, that's not a faith, that's just like real life, isn't it? You go to the hospital, they've got to stitch up your guts and they do it properly, following medical science. You don't get that in a religious book.
Now I need to make this quite clear to you. I need to make this absolutely clear to you, all you Christians that watch this that don't like me, because I know there's a lot of you. What kind of persecution are you getting for standing up for truth? What persecution are you getting for calling out the errors and the evils of society?
The other thing I've noticed really is that some people, they make a grandstand and they talk about God and they stand on the pedestal and they share their concerns about God on the pedestal and about their mission and how they must change the Christians who are not good. Because the Christians who are not good reflect that they are in fact good. And if they are good, they're ordained by their own word and to do these things, to go and speak to everybody and put the message out and fight for what is right.
Let me give you an example of the quality of Christendom today versus the Christendom of the 1st, 2nd and 3rd century church.
And fight for the truth. And that is just religious narcissism.
And I am surrounded by what I call toffee-appled, cotton candy, spineless evangellyfish.
You do get a lot of this with religion as well. I was, so many stories I could get into, but it just sounds like I'm slagging the religion off.
Weak, whitewashed, mealy-mouthed, left-leaning Christians that just will not do what they should do.
I try not to, like, because the religion, and the people are sort of tied together. Well, not necessarily as closely as we think.
Oh, these are days, brothers and sisters, where this nation is desperate, I've been on TV a little bit of late, and one of the things that surprised me was this producer spoke to me and said, we're desperate to hear a Christian voice.
So there's this one guy, and he said Satan. He said Satan is in the car park, messing with cars. What the fuck does that mean? So I went to a church because I knew someone who was in the church, and I had to watch the concert that they were doing. They were playing the guitar on the stage, and Christ, it was awful. And the church leader just announced to everyone that Satan's in the car park. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? So it turned out what that actually meant was some criminals had tried to steal a car in the car park, and the police had intervened. So what you've got there is a worldview which is completely different to my worldview. You've got the religious scope, the lens, and then like my sort of reality. And I don't see the religious lens. I can't look through it because my bullshit filter starts to play up, and I can't see anything except bullshit. I can't take it. And that don't mean my political views are all wrong.
Then I saw some other footage this week of the Pope blessing all the illegal migrants coming into the country.
It doesn't even touch on any political view that I might have, or any person who just doesn't believe in any Abrahamic faith.
Where's the good man? Where's the good leaders? Where's the brave men? Where's the brave leaders that speak up against injustice?
I don't know, is this like a call to arms, is it? I'm just saying, when people like Tommy Robinson, I've got nothing against this guy either, but when he's saying let's march against the Muslims with our crosses and Jesus, and Katie Hopkins and all these other people are like saying pro-Jesus, and they're doing the Jesus thing on the walk with the patriots. Just don't fucking take it up. Just don't do it, because if you don't have to, don't do it. It's not about that. If you go to these things to address political issues, and they're turning it into a Christian fucking preachy session. They're talking bollocks about Jesus, and let's take our country back, and this is a Christian country, and all this shit. You don't have to get involved.
We have the Archbishop going to the mythical country of Palestine and talking about the occupiers.
But I just think it is wrong of them to go that way, really, because a lot of us have completely different views to what they have. And we have a lot of facts that can beat their arguments. Literally, this has been a Christian country for so many years, because our ancestors most likely were here before Christianity arrived. We've got Anglo-Saxon ancestors, Celtic ancestors, Neolithic ancestors on this land. And our morality, let's say, it's only come from Jesus. No, it didn't. Before Jesus existed, you had the Greeks like Homer, Socrates, and it's all Middle Eastern.
What you mean Israel and the Jewish people that live there, and actually all those other people like Druze and Arabs and various other people that live there.
All of it, all this Abrahamic stuff is Middle Eastern. And we adopted it and turned it into our own thing. We're lucky to break away from the oppression that our ancestors suffered. You should look it up. They were horrible. They killed themselves as well, the Protestants and the Catholics did.
My bishop, right, Bishop Kai Dewa, because I'm a part of the Confessing Anglican Church, okay, my bishop, he has got, he's got a fatwa on him.
We shouldn't be subjected to being forced to see the world through an incoherent lens that we don't want to take up. I see Islam and Christianity as the same thing. They worship the same gods. They sound like the same language. Abvundi Bishmaya. Yeah? That sounds like Arabic. That is the Lord's Prayer, the start of the Lord's Prayer. Do you know what I mean? So it is a bit of a pain in the arse to see all this religious rhetoric mixed in with all this political stuff.
The church wants to remain silent and not speak out about the injustices that's going on in our nation right now. This has to stop. And so I'm getting these emails and these letters from people that are saying to see someone standing up for truth is what's making them think about turning back to God.
Fair play to them. I find I'm incompatible with the logic. It's like, for example, like Jesus dies. He died for all of our sins. So this bloke died just so I can be forgiven many years later, and you can be forgiven, and people in his time could be forgiven for things. So that sort of implies there's a forgiveness, pain and suffering threshold mechanism that's going on. There's got to be something like that in place, and there probably is in theology. I just can't grasp it. So does that mean that if you went to Jesus in that time and said, look, I've sold your donkey because I wanted to buy some booze for the lads, and would he start punching himself to forgive you? And if he did, wouldn't it match that sort of system? Isn't it a bit bonkers? It doesn't, I can't grasp it. Why would one person die? This person dies and he gives his life for you to be forgiven, and then he's resurrected after 2 days anyway, so he didn't really die. I can't, and that's just no insult to anybody in the church. I think the people of the church, real people, and the theology, what's written down, that's what I'm on about. The theology that's written down, that's what I can't grasp. And that's what I don't like. And that's what I don't really welcome. But the people, I've got nothing against the people. It's nothing like that. I'm not an arsehole.